Can Cardano's ADA rally up 14,000% in the next bull market? I think so. And in this video, I'm going to show you why I think this. Now, as I get into today's video, if you find it useful and informative, smash the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications so you do not miss another video. If you're watching it on Twitter, why not go ahead and make sure you're following us and giving us a retweet. Really do appreciate those things as well. Let's go ahead and jump down into this video and start talking about why I think 14,000%. Let's go ahead and start things off by jumping into CoinMarketCap. Here we can see at the point of recording this video, we're hovering at the 28.82 cents. Yes, this is a pre-recorded video. We are not too concerned about the current price action, though. We're more concerned about the macro view and why I think we have that strong potential to the upside. We can see that the market cap's hovering under the $10 billion level. The trading volume in the last 24 hours puts us about $122 million. We have 35 billion tokens in circulating supply out of a maximum 45 billion. So for the most part, everything's pretty standard there. There's nothing too much to it than that, right? But when we start jumping down into some of the more fundamental analysis side of things, we can actually start to see that, we take a look at the DeFi Llama, we take a look at Cardano here, we can see that we're hovering on the $176 million of total value locked, which is impressive in itself. Now, if we take a look where we were back in March of 2022, we had $326 million of total value locked. Now, the interesting thing about these timeframes is actually what we see here is the price difference between where ADA was back in March of 2022 versus where we are right now. And if we toggle this over into ADA rather than in a USD value, we can see that in March of 2022, there was only 324 million ADA that was locked up, right? Where we sit right now, 608 million. So we know that the supply of ADA in terms of total value locked has almost doubled since March of 2022. This is a very significant thing. This is not something we can just glance over, kind of ignore, pretend isn't happening. This is a very big shrinkage of supply that essentially is going to drive further price action to the upside. And so when we take a look at this, considering we're in a bearish market, the price of ADA is dropping, and yet the amount of ADA that is being locked up through these DeFi protocols is actually on the increase. This is a recipe for success in the future. There's no wonder why big institutional players are buying ADA, which we'll jump into that in a moment. But for the most part here, we can see that yes, total value locked has dropped down since March 2020 if you look at it from a USD point of view. However, total value locked has doubled if you look at it from an ADA point of view. And that is very, very important. In the next bull market, we're going to see a serious shrinkage of supply of ADA and an increase in demand. These two metrics, when there's an imbalance like this, is going to create price action to dramatically move to the upside. So not only do we see total value locked growing at the moment, we can also acknowledge that there's a lot more protocols, a lot more dApps being built on the ecosystem. I think Charles Hoskinson recently said it was over 1,200 dApps being built on Cardano, which is very significant. When we get into that bull market, not only is there going to be an abundance of dApps being launching or kind of have recently launched on Cardano, that's going to increase the amount of demand for ADA because a lot of these platforms are going to require ADA for transaction fees and so forth. This is going to basically also increase the price dramatically from where it is today. And so these kind of things that we're talking about at this fundamental level in terms of just imbalances between the supply and the demand, the dApps that are being built, the shrinkage of available ADA for purchase, all these things are very much important into price action. The price action doesn't just magically move to the upside or magically move to the downside. It's all created from imbalances in the supply and the demand metrics. So when we take a look at ADA here being locked up the way that it is, that gives me a lot of encouragement. As we come on over into our membership website, this being membership.𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗏𝗀𝗏𝑖𝑜, linked in the description below, we have lots of things available for our members. One of those things for our members is the data zone, where we have Cardano on-chain data. If I come on over into the Cardano data here, we can have three tabs. We have an overview tab, we have a liquidations tab, and we have a wallet tab. If we take a look at the overview here, we have the circulating supply, the all-time high, the number of days since its all-time high, all the way down to the number of transactions in the last 24 hours, the cost of those transactions, and the amount of active addresses and accounts that exist, right? All these are really good key points, and it's good to keep a close eye on them. For example, how cheap it is to create transactions and how many accounts are active in the last 24 hours. These kind of things are actually pretty decent to kind of keep an eye on. Helps you understand whether or not there's growth in there. It's also good to know how many percentage points you are down from your all-time high. Right now, we're 90% at the point of recording this video, which is pretty decent in terms of trying to find, are you undervalued or overvalued, right? And right now, it's pretty much undervalued in my opinion. Anything less than 30 cents, to me, feels like a pretty good deal on ADA. As we take a look at liquidations, we can take a look at the exchanges which are having liquidation events occurring. Actually, there's not much. It was long positions in the last 24 hours. It's really minor in terms of liquidating ADA leverage positions. But the wallet count data helps us understand a little bit more about why we should be bullish on ADA. Okay, so we had our total value locked, right? We can see this growing in ADA sense, right? But it was also mentioned that there's no wonder why institutional players are looking at ADA and accumulating, right? Or large whale players are. And when we jump over into our data here, we have 10 different wallet sizes going from the low side at 0.001 ADA all the way to the higher side at over 1 million ADA. When we take a look at these extremes, we can see patterns in that data, right? On the lowest possible side, we see accumulation, new wallets growing basically out of thin air, up 16.74% in the last 365 days. And again, most of these low wallets are all going to be around that same kind of percentage point until we start going up into the higher tiers where we start to see a little bit more of an increase in places. As we come up to 100 ADA, nothing much to kind of really note here. 100 ADA isn't terribly too much, so it's up 24.9. As we get to 1,000, we're starting to see people maybe starting to adopt or starting to, invest a little bit more into ADA. This is up 28.79% in the last 365 days. 10,000 ADA is up 20% in the last 365 days. 100,000 ADA is up 5.7% in the last 375 days. And over a million is actually just down 1.26%. And yet up in the last 90 days, 3.06%. So as we note, the larger the wallets here, the more kind of conservative they become. But these are big investments. And we can see there's actually been pretty decent accumulation of these wallets over the last kind of, few days or so. And as we kind of take a look at this from 100,000 point of view, we can see very significant growth pretty much as the kind of turn of the year occurred. Even though we went down into new, fresh, lower lows, we can still see great accumulation at the 100,000 ADA or more per wallet. The 1 million side, we can also see recently, since we hit the bear market low point so far, we see other great accumulation happening at this level as well. So we are seeing pretty much growth of wallets, adoption of ADA at pretty much the wealthy level as well as the normal retail level as well. So we are seeing things maybe being moved around a little bit. It's because you can't have all the wallets increasing all at the same time. There's going to be pockets of selling, there's going to be pockets of buying and so forth. But for the most part, the message is very clear. ADA is being accumulated. Not only is total value doubled from an ADA point of view in the last year, or in fact, over the last year and a half, it's doubled. We can also see that there's accumulation happening, total value locked is growing, and ultimately, I think we are looking at a recipe for success in the future, which brings me on to price action. Where do we think things are going? And well, we can see that there's going to be a need for a move to the downside at some point here. And I do think that from our daily standpoint here, that we are looking for some volatility. We will be dropping down into the 20s. I suspect we're probably going to drop down lower than this as well. So do expect some volatility for ADA. I'm not thinking that the bear market is done with the price action of ADA just yet, but that is going to be a massive opportunity for accumulation. I wouldn't be holding my breath or waiting for it. I think anything lower than 30 cents is a great place to dollar cost average, in my opinion. But who am I? I'm not a financial advisor. Can't give you financial advice. All I can do is give you my thoughts and opinions as I personally see it. And for me, I think less than 30 cents is a great dollar cost averaging opportunity. That being said, though, I do think that we have the potential to come on down towards this area here, as I've mentioned many times before, between 15 and 18 cents. This is a previous area of resistance that I think is likely to be a Z-wave finishing move, which is going to be a nice area for a bear market low point. This, to me, would be the most undervalued altcoin if it does come down to that 15-cent range. If it doesn't come down as low as 15 cent, I'm not too concerned because I should have been dollar cost averaging this entire Z wave pattern. As I said, we've recently hit a new bear market low point, and again, I'm happy to say that that's the minimum expectation almost met there when it comes to a Z wave pattern in itself. So for the most part, it's looking pretty decent, and I'm not too concerned over these small moves to the downside. If we do lose, another 50% value, I don't mind because it's just another dollar cost averaging opportunity. As we kind of bring this up into our price target ranges, well, this is where we see very good growth. And I said 14,000%, right? We can see $26 would be that 14,000% if we come down towards 18 cent. So if we were to rally from 18 cent, okay, get this on here, 18 cent up towards our $26 1-to-1 is 14,594%. This is because of the very strong rally that we had with our A wave. The C wave pattern in itself mirrors that of the A wave pattern, okay? It normally lands between 1 and 1.236 of the size of our A wave. And so when we reflect on this, it actually puts us between $26 and $90. And I'm being super conservative here, saying that we only go down to 18 cent and then we only rally up to the 1-to-1. Now, that is still very aggressive. It would require an awful lot to get us to $26. What about moving up to a new all-time high around $3.70? Well, $3.70 would still see 1,900% in gains. Still very significant, but I think ADA is going to push up higher than that myself. More maybe towards the 786 fib scale, which would be 4,800. I think that's a nice target range to be aiming, which will be basically between the fib scales of 0.618 and 786, and you would see that as between $3.70 and $8.75. I think, though, there's a strong possibility that we do have a nice run with the amount of ADA that is being locked up, with the shrinkage of supply like that, and specifically as we enter into a bull market, the 1,200 dApps that are being built could bring in such a significant demand that a rally up towards $26 is potentially on the horizon. 14,000%. Let me know what your thoughts are on that down in the comments below. I would be a very happy man at $26 ADA. And yes, I am aware of what the market cap would be. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I think I'm going to leave this video right there. If you have found this useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.